everybody. This is so exciting. We are going to kick off our first session here of the day, and we have some visitors with us from Ohio and PBS, and they're going to be sharing all of our all of the information with you so that you can find some great resources for your summer programming and fall programming. So I'm going to pass this over to our wonderful speakers, Diane and Lisa, and let them introduce themselves as well as all their materials. So take it away, guys.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Diane Kroplin, and I am with Public Media PBS in Dayton, Ohio, and Lisa.
Yep, and I am Lisa Sensale Yazdian. I am with Cincinnati Educational Television in Cincinnati, so Cincinnati's local PBS station. Together, we make up Public Media Connect.
So we both have the same job as educators in 2 different cities and 2 different PBS stations, but we're under one umbrella as 2 PBS stations. And we'll talk to you a little bit about what we do to bring the world of STEM to your classroom, specifically for after-school programming. So as people are jumping online, we'll just go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to be today watching some videos. Don't get too comfortable. We're going to be doing a little bit of airplane yoga, and we are going to hopefully bring you some resources that are free and available from PBS and from our stations that you can use specifically for after school and summer programming. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, good. Okay.
It's not pulled up yet. Okay, there we go.
Now, is it full screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it? Oh, yes. Okay.
Seeing it, Lisa?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Very important that Lisa sees it because she's co-presenting. So I want to talk a little bit about PBS LearningMedia today. And again, we're going to share a bunch of resources with you. This slide presentation is going to be available for you to download and keep. So you don't really have to take a lot of photos or notes. You'll have all the links that we share today. If you just go back to the main conference page, and you can pull them down there, plus a handout. First, I'm going to remind you of who we are as educators. All right, volume up.
Can everybody hear it?
No, there's no sound.
There's no
with the
sound,
video.
Diane.
Oh, no. Let me check audio settings. Is that better? Yes?
Yes, just louder.
It is louder?
Make it louder.
Did we hear that at the end? You want to try one more time because we have a lot of videos to share.
Yeah, try once more, please.
Okay.
Are
we yes? Okay.
We lost it. We lost the sound. We lost the sound.
We lost the sound?
Yes.
Great. So it's a video heavy presentation. Let's move on. This was our sizzle reel to show you PBS Kids. Let's hope we do better with some of our other content. Sorry. Okay. Are you hearing my volume okay? Lisa, can you do the thumbs up? Okay, sounds great. I want to talk a little bit about who PBS is. We are educators, first and foremost. That is what we do. Public broadcasting service is available to everyone in the entire country. We reach about 96% of every geographical area, including Alaska and Hawaii. We have over 300 PBS stations, and they are local either to a city, to a university, or sometimes they're just statewide. Like, for example, the state of Kentucky has one PBS station that serves the education community throughout the entire state. Maybe you can look on this map and find your local PBS station. As an after-school educator, if you are not currently connected with your local PBS station, I would urge you to contact them. Every station, besides having the broadcast for all kinds of PBS kids shows, all kinds of adult fun evening shows, all kinds of educational support materials for families, we also serve our local communities. Every station, nearly every station, has a full-time staff of professional educators dedicated to the local education community. And you'll learn more about why we exist and where our content goes that we create to serve our communities. And then once you get connected with your PBS station, we write grants together with you. We can get all sorts of resources out there specifically to fit your local needs. So we're local and we're national. Hopefully you can see your station's dot on this map. PBS is, for 21 years since the survey began, we are #1 in public trust. Parents, at 89% of parents, see PBS Kids as a tool to help prepare their children for school. In my opinion, PBS Kids is one of the greatest resources we have because more than 50% of children do not go to preschool in this country. Parents name us at 82% the most educational media brand out there. So we know you serve children, but you serve parents as well. So you know we're a safe place to be and we're trusted. 90% of parents say that PBS is a safe and trusted source for children to watch television and play games and be on our apps, and we are. Lisa and I have met many of the people that develop and are behind the scenes at these TV shows that are the guide to all of our games and apps. And I can tell you what goes into that is education. Because we're a nonprofit organization, we don't serve anyone but the kids. And so it's really high quality content with a lot of rigorous standards. So these are the main products, I guess, coming from PBS. You'll recognize PBS Kids. We also have PBS for Parents, which is web-based information. Parents can go there and learn tips and tricks for great parenting or find fun family activities, great resources for all types, even hard subjects like divorce and death in the family. There's so many resources for parents. But today, we are going to focus on this resource, PBS LearningMedia. And I will click over to the website, but in a nutshell, PBS LearningMedia is a free online digital library designed specifically for educators to use with students. And I'm going to click over to it. We're not going to need to do sound on this one, so like keep your fingers crossed for good sound. This is what it looks like. You will see we are under the hit for congressional funding cuts. So we are a little concerned about that, but because we are such a strong organization and our support is going up, up, up as we speak, I don't feel there's any concern that we're going to lose our PBS LearningMedia, and majority of our PBS stations, including ours, will be fully intact because we just get a small percentage of our funding from the government. But to show you PBS LearningMedia, you can sign up and have an account, which allows you to use it and save things and share things within the classroom and share things with students. But you can also just use it free. We don't track you at all. In fact, the only thing you probably will get if you sign up for LearningMedia or use it, you might get asked to join our newsletter, and that's it. But it's a wonderful thing. You will see that you can search classroom resources that we have on any subject. These are the subjects: science, social studies, math, English language arts, preschool, health, phys ed, engineering and technology, professional development. So many topics. You can also search by grade, and you can also, there's a student site where you can actually assign things out, but that's a lot more for a regular K-12 teacher to use in their classroom. In an after-school program, I want to show you some of the resources that are specifically created for you. This is just part of the first landing page. You're going to see in this first section all of these features, like kind of new content or timely, relevant content, and it goes on, and it's a great place to keep an eye on. You can hear your subjects to browse by just in buttons. There are some news and events of what's going on. And then these are going to be your station's local content. This happens to be the content from my station, ThinkTV in Dayton, Ohio. These are and a lot of it matches Lisa's content at CET in Cincinnati. These are all programs that we've created for teachers, usually through grants or partnerships. And today we're going to be talking about Ohio Learns 360, this first one, and we're going to be talking about Engineering Your Future, Talking Jobs, and A to Z Career Labs. But we have so many cool things, including a full social emotional program. So I'm going to escape out of Learning Media now. Let's see if I can go back here. Can I get a hands up for anyone who has seen or used PBS Learning Media? It looks like quite a few. What do we have here? I want to talk now a little bit about Ohio Learns 360. In fact, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can manipulate things.
Okay. Is the volume for Lisa the same as my volume? Can someone do a thumbs up or down? I found it to be her volume very loud.
Oh,
Anybody else?
I'm also very loud.
No, it's not you, Lisa. It's just, I think that your mic is really up high.
Oh.
Wonder if someone could just let us know. Pull your mic off and say something about the difference in our volumes. Is it the same or different?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll jump into this. So we, in collaboration with all of Ohio's 8 PBS stations, got together and we were provided a grant through the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. And these were the ESSER funds. So this basically happened 2 years ago. We wrapped it up. And our goal was to accelerate learning during out of school time for kindergarten through 5th grade students. So everything we've created as part of this project is freely accessible to anyone via PBS Learning Media. So we had a number of components. We had 5 different components to this project called Ohio Learns 360, but we are going to focus specifically on the Camps in the Box that we've created because there's a considerable number of resources for out of school time learning. They're heavy in STEM, but also incorporate literacy and art. So we do cover a lot in each of these camps. With these resources, we trained and distributed materials to over 5,600 educators in the state of Ohio. And with our materials, we reached over 200,000 students in the state of Ohio. So the entire, most of the geography of Ohio, most of the state was covered. We've got very positive comments. We have educators who continue to reach out to us about these materials. And as part of the grant funding, we were able to give our teachers and classrooms materials in physical boxes. But since the grant is over, we can't do that. But everything we created can be found on Learning Media. So I'm going to pull that up again. And you find it by searching through for Ohio Learns 360 when you get into learning media. And so Ohio Learns 360 will bring up these camps in a box. We created 7 camps for grades K-2 and also 7 camps for grades 3 through 5. And many of them share they usually share a common theme. So we did an all about air camp and a flight camp, all about air for K-2 and flight for grades 3 through 5. So this is just a little snapshot of where you find them, and we'll dig a little bit deeper as we go through the slides. So let me get back to our slides. Okay, so where did my slides go? Oh, here we go. I'm so sorry about that. All right, so what is a camp in a box? So a camp in a box has all materials needed for 5 sessions. It includes a minimum of 5 hours of programming, so we factored in about an hour per session. However, there's more than an hour of activities in these camp sessions. It comes with a facilitator guide. And so we made the facilitator guide very detailed. We'll call it scripted. It is not meant to be scripted. Like as an educator, you don't have to read it as is. We did it that way because we wanted to provide initial questions and follow-up questions, resources for the facilitator, because we know in our experience, every out of school time setting varies drastically. So we were working with church programs. We were working with child care centers. We were working with camps. We were working with Boys and Girls Club. So I know in my experience, what I've seen, sometimes you can have an infant toddler teacher who suddenly is in charge of your school age kids because somebody is sick or they're short staffed, whatever what happens. I trained teenagers who, how to work with elementary school students on this. So we've got people from all kinds of backgrounds and experiences and levels of comfort. So the facilitator guide is meant to be a baby blanket for those who need it, right? And in every camp includes a letter to families. And so that's just an introduction to what students would be learning and also gives them some sort of extensions to do at home, some books they can read, additional videos to explore, hands-on activities they might want to try at home. And as I stated, so all the materials for creating these kits, so you can reproduce any of these kits, are on Learning Media. So I'm going to go back to Learning Media and show you an example. We'll get to, I like superpower. What's your superpower? And you go to the camp. You'll see everything that's listed in this session. So this K-2 camp has 5 sessions. Everyone has superpowers, superhero training academy, superhero science, superhero art, and secret agent training academy. Learning goals are listed. And then when you scroll down, you'll get your facilitator guide. So you could choose to print this out, keep it virtual, however you want to do it. And then the facilitator guide, I'll pull this up. All right, we'll just go to. So the beginning has the standards listed. We've got camp structure, and then we have charts for all the materials that are needed in each of the sessions. So you can prep those ahead of time. And you'll see samples, there are pictures in there too with some of the materials that we have. So one of the sessions we do, let's see, session 3, superhero science. We have these little bar magnets. Most of the stuff, we try to keep it relatively simple. Go to, Dollar Tree to find what you need. But like I said, magnets we had to order. And so we've got Dixie cups here. We've got so these little bar magnets we had to order, and we had to order these in bulk because we were creating about 500 camps for each theme. So we were spending a lot doing that. When you're in smaller programs, this should be easier to find. But so you'll see pictures of some of the unique items, and then other things are simple as cups or paint sticks, or paper or that kind of thing, Alka-Seltzer tablets. So you can build any of these kits. You could steal any of these, borrow any of the activities that we've included. Oh, and back to the letter to families, we did translate those into Spanish because we were working with the Spanish network station and trying to promote that in communities as well. So our camp structures, there's always that broad camp theme, which I mentioned earlier. We try to keep the themes similar for K-2 and 3-5. There's always a video component. For K-2 is a short video clip. The activities are not necessarily dependent on the video. We know also our out-of-school time programs vary in terms of access to technology. So the K-2 ones are not dependent on it. For grades 3-5, a lot of those activities are dependent on that. Either way, we do want the educators to preview the videos, even if their students can't watch them. There's always reading activities. So when we created our K-2 boxes, we included books in them. And for the grades 3-5, we didn't include books, but there's book suggestions. So everything that we've used or suggested is in that facilitator guide. And at the time of this creation, everything was available to be purchased. So nothing was out of print at that time. Every camp has a number of extension activities to keep the learning going. So it could be additional book suggestions, additional video suggestions, just additional hands-on activities. We focused on individual work, but there's also a lot of group work. And of course, everything is aligned to learning standards. So I'm going to give you a few slides that show some sample activities, get at the meat of the camps. So of course, for our nature camp, we focused on life cycles. It's hard not to, right? So we focused on the life cycles of the ladybug, the monarch butterfly, the spotted salamander, and sunflower. And so when we were creating these kits, we're like, well, how can we do life cycles in a way that kids have not already seen? You know, can we get away from paper plate life cycles, right? With macaroni and whatever. So we decided, okay, let's make some life cycle discs. So we got paper die cut discs. I'll show, it's kind of blurry, but it's just a circle about 2.5 inches. We created stickers for each of these 4 life cycles that came in the kit. And I'm going to click. So this is also on LearningMedia. So if you wanted to print your own stickers, the images are right here. So the stickers are here. You print them on adhesive material, right? And so part of the student's task was to put stickers on their own discs. So the students got to create their own life cycle disc that they got to keep and take home with them. So with these discs, they not only learned about the order, so they were practicing the sequencing, learning about the life cycle of each of these living things. This session also had a bingo game using the same pictures, but also you could play a game of memory, right? But a little different than your typical memory. So they can match same life cycle to same life cycle. Or they could do life cycle order. So they would have to match the life cycle stage 1 of the animal to the life cycle stage 2. So you can make it as easy or as complex as you wanted to for your students. So that's just one example of a hands-on activity that we provided. And that was a lot of fun. And the kids could color the back or draw on the back of their life cycle discs if they wanted to. So for our All About Air camp, we were talking about, this is for K-2, putting air to work, and that air is matter, air is something, it exerts pressure. So there are videos, these are clips from the videos that are included. And so they practice lifting with air using Ziploc bags and straws and just a little bit of tape to reinforce that hole. So they practice lifting picture books. They could practice lifting a stuffy or anything else there is in the classroom. Then together they make a prediction about whether or not they can lift a table. So I did train the teenagers to use this camp with the elementary school students. And they were like, no, we can't. There's no way we can lift a table with these bags. There's no way. Like, it's totally impossible. I'm like, let's do it. And so the teenagers' minds were blown because, again, it's like, well, yeah, well, air is, yeah, air is something. Air exerts, there's pressure against that bag. So it did make that connection for them. And so just think about your elementary students who are like, it's magic. And so they want to try and lift all kinds of things. So that was a lot of fun. And then another activity, just another sample from a different camp. So what's your superpower? Camp from the Secret Agent Training Academy session. So I don't know if anybody has printed off these sheets, but these sheets, again, you can print, their link is there. They're under the superhero camp. You can print these off. But if you wanted to take a moment to code your initials, I can give you a few minutes to do that. I coded mine. I coded my whole name. Oh, you can't see this. This is so blurry. I coded my whole name since it was short, but if you wanted to try and code your initials, you can. Does anybody want to do that? Yay, nay. Looking at honey. Quiet group. Okay. So in this particular activity, students could code their initials, their nickname, short name if they wanted to, and then they created bracelets using beads and pipe cleaners. And so that was that. And so, and for the facilitator, so we have this background knowledge there for the facilitator to explain, you're introducing children to binary codes. What are binary codes? Computer codes use 0 and 1. Braille is a type of binary code. Morse code is binary code. And so that background knowledge is provided, so this makes sense to everybody. Okay, and then I guess, Diane, I'm going to turn it over to you. Does anybody have any questions about the K-2 activities? And when you sift through these facilitator guides and the lessons, you'll see it's activity. So there's at least 2 hands-on activities, usually more per camp, to keep the kids busy and engaged. Any? Good, it's good. How cool. Okay, I don't see any questions. So I'm going to pass it over to Diane to look at the grades 3 through 5.
Great. As everybody's seeing my screen now, it should be blue, entering your future. Are you seeing that, Lisa? Okay. Sounds great. This is just an example of one of the STEM camps that we created for grades 3 through 5. The grades K-2 complementary camp was called Dream Big. So I just wanted to show you for Engineering Your Future, we have a lot of components. I will click over to the site. This first activity we did was for assembly line design, and it was to make color bricks. So students would have to design an assembly line, and this is something you don't have to know how to do. If you have the facilitator guide like Lisa was showing, These guides read like a script. You open it up and you start reading it out loud, and you're literally teaching. The goal of this is so that the students come into your session, that you're going to do engineering your future, and they can either watch a video or just get started right away on the activity. The color bricks are basically a setup that the Playdays toy company needs help from student engineers to make their color bricks toy faster. So you're going to design an assembly line. The bricks have to be built very fast using good workmanship. Every brick has to get inspected for quality. And if your brick is not perfect and does not pass quality, your brick does not count. The goal is for your assembly line to race against someone else's assembly line to make as many color bricks as possible in 10 minutes. So this is the specification, and this is a handout that the students are being given. You don't have to teach this. You hand it to them and tell them to read it and do it. And it is a race. When they're all ready to go and everyone's read it and understands, and you start the clock. So every brick is made up of 2 brown paper bags. They are each stuffed with 2 sheets of scrunched up paper. Just you can use your recycle. Every brick has to have 6 dots on the large face. 3 of the dots have to be larger than an inch, and 3 of the dots have to be smaller than a ½ inch. Is anyone hearing measurement and math going on there? You have to write the word color bricks on the long, narrow end, and each end of the brick has to have diagonal stripes. If those specifications are not met, your brick is rejected. So it's a very interesting team building exercise. It would actually be fun for teachers to do as well. So you can change your specifications. If this is too complicated, you can address it to any age group. And that's just an example of some of the things that happen in the Engineering Your Future kit. We also have the facilitator guide, like Lisa was showing you, just to run you through the standards for the camp structure. We have 5 sessions. We did advanced manufacturing was represented in session 1. Computer engineering, we do coding games with 1 deck of cards. Construction engineer, they build their dream house, they design it and build it. And then they have to take measurements of it, use area and design surfaces for it. A little HGTV project with the building model. There's a research and development engineer where they do product testing, and they do test and evaluation of bubbles, and they do test and evaluation of scented markers. You can test and evaluate anything you want and use the rubrics we've included for the students. And you can download those rubrics and you can rewrite them to fit whatever products you want them to test and evaluate. That is specifically a really important engineering function. And then we have a flying copter they can make out of paper and some very small assembly pieces. That's to represent mechanical engineering. Now, as you watch your students thrive or not thrive with engineering activities, it's just a really, really big eye-opener about how you can help your students in their career search. So just wanted to share that one with you. Now we're going to take that much promised yoga break because we know that you've been sitting in front of your computer for a while. I wanted you to do a yoga break in conjunction with one of our grades 3 to 5 flight camp activities, which is airplane yoga. As a teacher, you might not be on top of Bernoulli's principle and lift, thrust, drag, gravity, yaw, pitch, and roll, and all these science terms because, hey, you're an after-school educator and you don't know everything, right? So let's just stand up where you are. If you want to turn your camera on or off is fine. And we're going to take 5 minutes to do airplane yoga. And by the end of this activity, both you and your students will know all the very important things you need to know about the forces of flight. And I thank you I'm remembering Lavetta Parker explained how to get my sound working. So let's hope that worked, Lavetta. Are we? Yes.
We can't hear or see anything if we're supposed to be hearing or seeing something.
I'm so sorry. Lisa, are you seeing and hearing? Yeah. Is anybody else, raise your hand, lift up a
I
thumb if
am
you're
seeing and hearing.
Hmm.
Is it just one person who can't hear or see?
Let me call on someone for a thumb. I see Marcy Johnson's picture. Marcy, can you see or hear? No. Okay. I'm so sorry. This is not working for some reason. Lisa, are you on screen sharing still?
Hmm.
I see that Lisa is sharing her screen.
We
Okay.
both are. Now, are you guys seeing an airplane picture right now?
No, I see the blocks.
Yeah, the engineer,
Oh, so it never
engineer your future.
advanced.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm not sure why our videos will not show. Are you seeing
It's weird.
are you
I
seeing
see it
Lisa,
on
are you able to
yours.
unshare your screen? Like stop
Uh,
screen sharing?
It's not giving me, but okay. How do I do that? Why is this not showing
I
me?
don't know.
One participant, oh no, we have multiple participants who can share simultaneously. All right, I'm just gonna, but then what, okay, what do you see now?
I see the life cycles.
Okay,
So
Facilitate.
it's Lisa's screen is sharing. Lisa, why don't you keep your screen and I'll stop sharing?
okay.
I'm going to stop my sharing and see if Lisa's works better.
So sorry. Hold on, I'm so sorry. I need to pull up that presentation again. Hold on.
First one.
Oh, here, okay, I see stop share now.
But don't stop. Okay, now I'll share.
Go
Okay.
share. I'm so sorry, everybody.
It's okay. Well, I don't know if that's why, because it may just be it may be me. So, are you seeing airplane yoga?
Yes.
Did
Okay.
anyone see the bricks?
Or anything else. I think we're good. Yoga. Okay. I think that was the problem and that was my fault.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let me try airplane yoga again. If it doesn't work, we're going to move on.
Curiosity and wonder. Let's
Yeah, the sound's working. The sound is
Good,
working.
okay.
Wow. Hi, my name is Jerry, and today we are at the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. And today we are going to learn about how planes, like the one behind me, fly. We are going to learn today how 4 forces of flight help keep planes in the air. The first force that we're going to talk about is gravity. Gravity is what keeps us on the ground. And because we all have weight, gravity affects us all. So let's practice with our gravity. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. We're all going to jump up. And that is gravity pulling us back to Earth. Are you ready to practice again? 1, 2, 3, jump up. There's gravity. And because the plane behind me has so much weight, it has to overcome gravity to get off the ground. So that is our first force, gravity. 1, 2, 3, gravity. The second force of flight that we're going to talk about is thrust. You'll notice on this plane behind me that it has a large propeller. The propeller, as it spins faster and faster, thrusts the air and moves the air behind the plane, which then thrusts the airplane forward. So let's all do that together. Thrust. Again, thrust. The propeller, as it spins, thrusts the airplane forward. The third force that we're going to talk about is drag. when the plane is moving through the air, it also has air dragging against it, which works against the plane as it moves through the air. So let's drag ourselves through the air. Can you do that with me? Drag yourself through the air. That is the third force of flight. Our fourth and last force of flight is lift. You see the wings behind me, which are actually folded in. Normally, when this airplane is flying, they're of course all the way out. You can do that too. Lift is generated when air flows over and under the wings. So let's all lift ourselves up. So the fourth force of flight is lift. Try that again, lift. So we've gone through 4 forces of flight: gravity, thrust, drag, and lift. So we talked about how the airplane moved through the air using the 4 forces of flight, and now we're going to do a little bit of airplane yoga. I've got not only a model here, but a model here to help me demonstrate. This is my friend Wiley. We're going to do some airplane yoga. Are you ready, Wiley? Yes. Are you ready at home? Great. So the first way that we're going to learn how the airplane moves through the air when the air moves over it is pitch. And this is when the airplane moves forward. So everybody hold your arms out, and we're going to pitch forward. Pitch forward. Oh, that feels good. All right. That is when the airplane moves forward. And now we're going to roll like an airplane would. And this is when the airplane moves side to side. Wiley, can you hold your arms out like an airplane? Side to side, roll side to side. All right, everybody roll side to side. Okay, that feels nice. Rolling. And now can we pitch? Pitch and roll. Pitch. Whoop, I forgot to pitch and roll. And our last movement is yaw. And this is back and forth. Back and forth. All right, I'm going to demonstrate it. Yaw, back and forth. All right, so we've got pitch, which is up and down. Pitch, roll, which is side to side. Here we go. And yaw, which is back and forth. And that is a little bit of airplane yoga. And you can make up your own routine for airplane yoga if you'd like. Put those together in any sequence you'd like. And our airplane then can move around in any way that it would like through the air using all its different control surfaces, through the air using the 4 forces of flight. Should we demonstrate those again? We've got gravity, which keeps us on the ground. We've got thrust, which moves us through the air. Drag, which holds us back. And lift, which keeps us up. All right. Thank you for joining me today at the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum.
So that's just another example. Are you hearing me now? Good. Another example of a PBS Learning Media. This is a PBS station that put this out on Learning Media, and we were able to pull it in and use it for our camp. Now, what's super fun about this flight camp activity is what you do after you obviously you watch this with your kids to get started on the unit. And then you have a competition where you yell out, and this is in the facilitator guide. You go like lift, drag, thrust, gravity, lift, thrust, lift, drag, gravity, pitch, yaw. They start learning this by doing it in a group. And in about less than 5 minutes, you will see the students all know what every word means by doing it with their body. Then they are ready to go into the flight camp. The 5 sessions involve building airplanes, having flying challenges, understanding, I actually had people when I did this in a group, they would fly a paper airplane, and there's a session where you tape off an area on the floor to make sure it stays within a certain width, how far it goes. They make 1-foot lines on the grid. This is all in the kit, in the facilitator guide. But I actually have students go, "Ooh, that was too much pitch." They would actually use the vocabulary words, or gosh, the gravity was overcoming my lift, and they were seeing it and experiencing it. So this is STEM in action through learning it from a video instead of from us who are not experts on flight. And this is the power of video, to use it if you have access to that in your classroom. So are there any questions about the Ohio Learns 360 Camp in a Box? There are 14 different camps in a box. They each have a facilitator guide. Does anybody have questions about that? How to find them? It's on Learning Media, Ohio Learns 360. Just because it says Ohio on it, don't let that bother you. We know that you're coming from all over the country. We were funded in Ohio by the state of Ohio, and our 8 PBS stations spread this throughout Ohio. 200,000 students have done Camps in a Box. 6,500 teachers, is it 5,500? 5,500 teachers have used them. We have gotten nothing but fantastic feedback. So I hope you'll take a peek and you'll copy, plagiarize, download, use all of it, because it's for you to use for free. So I want to talk really quickly now about PBS Learning Media's career exploration. Most states do have standards requiring us to look at careers for students all the way from kindergarten on up, and as it should be, because you can't start soon enough figuring out what you want to do and who you want to be when you grow up. So I want to talk just briefly about our elementary and middle school collections. On Learning Media, there's one called A to Z Career Lab. I can be anything I want to be, A to Z. There are 26 videos. We partnered with people who are experts in these various careers. There are obviously 26 careers. We have a team of student actors from our local performing arts school that became the career lab characters. The kids relate to them in their classroom support materials. So just to show you a little bit of what the videos look like, there it is on PBS Learning Media, A to Z Career Lab. You have a career for every letter of the alphabet. And then within these videos, I'll just show you the overview. Within the videos, there might be 5 or 6 other careers that start with that letter. So you're learning about hundreds of careers and things that we might not even know exist out there. I'll just show you a preview.
Hi, I'm Quinn, and I work in the A to Z Career Lab. Here in the lab, we're focused on the future because we know that kids everywhere are curious about their future career choices. Members of the Lab Squad team work together to investigate all the amazing careers that are out there. We get our assignments from the Office of the Alphabet.
The Office of the Alphabet is calling with an urgent career request.
They let us know when a kid somewhere has an urgent request to learn more about a specific occupation, like electrician or botanist. It's okay if you don't know what those careers are, because we talk to experts in those professions and they tell us all about what they do. And then we spread the word about that cool career to kids everywhere. Our motto is a cool career for every kid. What future career path are you curious about? If you don't know, you should stop by and see what we're up to. We'll definitely give you options to think about. See you in the lab.
And that just gives you just an overview of that program. In addition, we have the Engineering Your Future, same name as that Camp in a Box, but this is where all the career videos came from. This is a near-peer interviewer, a middle schooler who interviews local young engineers, specifically Black engineers, different people of color as well, and female engineers, so that we get a view of that it's not just for guys to be in engineering. And we get to see there's everything on PBS Learning Media has viewer guides, lesson plans, or something associated with it. So we're running low on time, so I won't dig into these. We also have Talking Jobs. That is about how to start thinking about a career. Again, it's a peer interviewer coming in June of 25. We're going to have healthcare tech, skilled trades, and advanced manufacturing. In other words, next month, we're going to have specific career segments. So that wraps us up. We're at time. Does anybody have any questions about PBS Learning Media, about what PBS does in education, or need any other information? We good? Here's our contact information. Please reach out. We will walk you through these items. If you have questions or you want some materials or anything, ideas, let us know. So thank you so much. Sorry we were the glitchy with all that sound, but you know, hopefully that everything will go much better in the rest of your next 2 days. So,
and we recommend definitely trying out the activities before you do them with the students. So you have an understanding too. Sometimes we need to do that. I think we have a camp called Math is Art, and we have a compass in there. When was the last time you used a compass? So you're going to have to figure out, relearn that part. But enjoy, please.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.